My name is Sarah Brimwood, Chair of the Natural Resources Commission, and I'm calling this public meeting to order at 7 o'clock. Then our C meeting will be a hybrid in-person and Zoom meeting. We have a microphone set up on the commission table and plans will be projected through the TV monitor. If you're presenting via Zoom, please turn on your audio and microphone when it's time for you to speak. Following the presentation by the petitioner and questions from the commission, members of the public will have the opportunity to ask questions and provide public comment. Please identify yourself with name and address for the record. You can also raise your hand from your phone by dialing *9 and use *6 to unmute. All video screens will be turned off with the exception of any commissioners attending virtually and the current petitioner. Once the commission has acted on an application, the petitioner is free to leave the meeting. In the event of any technical difficulties, all matters on the agenda that have not been heard will be automatically continued to the April 23rd meeting. Please note that this meeting is being recorded. At this time, I'd like to ask the commissioners to introduce themselves.
Jim Smith.
Gary Kleiman.
Nick Pappas.
Mill's online, right there. Thank you. Okay, so we, as always, will start with public comment. This is limited to up to 10 minutes with no more than 2 minutes allocated to any one speaker. Public comment is limited to items that are not on the agenda. Do we have any public comment? No? No. Okay. Next, we have 2 sets of meeting minutes to approve. January 29th and February 19th, 2025. Did everybody get a chance to review them?
Yes,
Any
I didn't find them.
comments?
There was no, that's good.
All
I
look
gave a
good.
couple of changes to.
I move that
to
we
Karen.
accept the minutes
Thank you.
of, what were the dates?
Second.
January 29th and February 19th. Seconded by Jim.
Thank you very much. And the vote, Jim,
Aye.
Gary,
Aye.
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Do we have any commissioner comments tonight?
No.
No?
Nope.
Okay, next is the director's update, please do, dear.
So first thing, you may have heard that the governor passed legislation last week extending the hybrid meeting option to June 2027.
Mhm.
It's still not a permanent extension, and I'm not sure why that is, but it's now valid for another through June 2027. The state has updated the drought status. It was updated last month to reflect a greater drought intensity in the state. I have a map here that shows the levels of drought. So central and northeast had been in a critical level 3 drought, and now that level 3 critical drought also includes the Connecticut River Valley. The significant drought had been in the southeast and Cape Cod and Island regions, and now includes the western region. So, I think this, board is very well aware of water conservation efforts. But as much as that information can be shared with your networks, I think that would be good. The April 19th celebration planning and coordination continues. That's coming up very soon. And it looks like this campus here will be hosting a lot of trailers and law enforcement personnel and some public works operations. So we haven't got confirmation, but it's likely that the offices will be closed to the public on Thursday and Friday just to allow all of this equipment to be setting up on the campus. We'll be working, presumably, some people may be working from home, but likely closed to the public on Thursday and
Is
Friday.
that what the cell phone tower is?
Yes, that's one of the 2. So we'll have that, and then there's another one coming into the Kais Road parking lot. The Thursday, I think it's the Thursday before the celebration, which has these sort of long, big legs.
Yeah.
Takes up quite a bit of room, half a lot over there.
Okay.
Yep. Tomorrow night, the ZBA will be reviewing the draft permit with conditions for the Forest Ridge Road comprehensive permit. I think everyone is aware that's the 237 unit chapter 40B project. There are 59 affordable units. We did include a recommendation that they include a condition for a turtle protection plan there's one observation of an eastern box turtle, which is a state listed species. It's not mapped because it's not enough observation to be mapped. So there's no input from Heritage on this. So we included a condition that said they hire a turtle biologist to prepare a plan that would include contractor education, informational signage, pre-construction sweeps. And we would review that plan before they break ground. The Art Ramble is again going off this year. The commission will recall several months ago that the Emerson Umbrella came to the commission and asked for an extension.
Yeah.
And you granted a 6-month period for the Ramble, so it's going to be from basically it's going to get set up. I think it's this Saturday that they're gonna start. Yeah, I think it's this Saturday through the beginning of October.
Nice.
And a lot of it's going to be, so it's going to be looking towards celebrating Black history. There will be mostly, so there'll be a cabin up by Town Forest Land at Brewster's Hill. And some signage to get, people up into that area, but the majority of the ramble is going to be on the Walton Woods project land leading into the reflection circle. So it's just the cabin that's on the town land, but then there's other art that they'll have on the Walton Woods land. And they will be doing some processionals that we don't have those dates yet, but throughout I think it's 4 events that they want to do, just sort of educating the public.
Nice.
Yeah. So again, looking forward to that. It's always interesting to see what comes out. I sent around earlier today a link to the CPW website that includes the stormwater utility information, including the fee schedule that the commission had asked for. I think at the last meeting when I think it was the last meeting.
Yeah.
That the stormwater engineer came and talked about the actually, now, was it here or was it at the conservation
No,
coffee?
No, it
Okay, so
wasn't here.
it was at the conservation coffee. So you had
I
said,
sent you a link to the president last year at
You
the
did.
town meeting.
thank you. Yes. And now I'm recalling, you had asked, you want to see the fee
Yeah.
schedule and then make a decision on whether you want to have them come and make a presentation.
Did we all get the link too?
I just
I
sent
got the
it.
link to
Oh.
the thing today,
Yeah,
yeah, and
I
I
just
went
sent it.
online and
Thanks.
looked at what my fees would be under the 3 options.
Yes,
Okay.
Which
There's
one did
the-
you choose?
Well, I don't think I get to choose, but yeah.
Drop off, swap off, this year will be May 3rd. And the online pre-registration for that begins tomorrow. And the last thing on my list is the Warner's Pond Task Force Public Forum tomorrow night at the Townhouse and on Zoom. And Betsy's excited. That's it for me. Thank you.
Practicing.
Great, okay. I have a question. We have a number of continuances. Is the first one the same date
There's
as
Karen.
the next batch, or should it be different dates?
That is correct. The Massport,
Yeah, so, okay, I just wondered why it's separate.
because it's an open and continue,
Oh.
and the
that's
others are
difference.
just
Thank you.
continuing.
Spot the
Yeah.
difference, I didn't spot it,
Yeah.
okay, thank you. So, please could we have a motion for the open and continue? NOI. The first one.
So I move that we open and continue to April 23rd without discussion. The notice of intent, DEP file number 1371699 for 43A Virginia Road and 48X Virginia Road. Oh, and 777 Virginia Road and 58B Old Bedford Road. A lot of addresses.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second,
Thank you. And the vote, Jim?
Aye.
Thanks, Gary.
Aye.
Nick?
aye,
And I'm an aye as well. Thank you. And then please could I have a motion for,
So I move that we continue to April 23rd without discussion. NOI for DEP file 1371694 and the NOI for DEP file 1371693. NOI for DEP file 1371688. NOI for 18A College Road, DEP file 1371690. And NOI for DEP file 1371641.
Second.
Thank you. On the vote, Jim,
Aye.
Gary,
Aye.
Nick,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Thank you. And
And
lastly.
the last one, I move that we continue to June 25th without discussion, NOI for DEP file 1371686.
Second.
Thank you. On the vote, Jim,
Aye.
Gary,
Aye,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Thank you.
okay.
Okay, that was another
Right.
continuances. Long meeting next time, maybe. Okay, so tonight we have one continuance to be heard. This is for an NOI for 1487 Monument Street, DP file 1371695. And I believe we have Dave. Hi, Dave.
Yeah,
Hello, good evening. Whoops, hello, here we go.
Can you hear us okay?
I hear you now, do you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes.
do.
Good, great. Okay, good evening, nice to see you all, thanks for your time as always. We are back with a continuance. My name's Dave Burke. Dr. Fred is with me this evening, as is Norm DeRis, and both are part, one is the applicant, one is a part of the support team as well. Norman may be a little bit late in joining us. However, we are before the board with a continuance for 1487 Monument Street. Notice of intent, and as you may recall, the work includes removal of an existing chicken barn, if you will, and construction of a proposed garage as shown on the plan. The garage is in red, the chicken barn is down and to the right of that. I think we recall our last time going through the details there. We had been tossing around a couple of things that have been cleared up in the meantime, and one of them was the offsetting mitigation, or our contribution towards mitigation to offset the impact. And the numbers that John Hamler, surveyor, provided at the bottom of the plan in the chart were at hand, and we were considering woody plantings at that time, as in trees and shrubs, essentially. And that had kind of gone through the apple tree idea, and at some point a meadow idea. And what we arrived at with some careful consideration was what's shown on the plan at this point, and that is the regeneration and establishment of two no-mow zones, both which are immediately adjacent to the wetlands, if you will, and the stream. And they are also within the 25-foot no-touch zone. And those areas are, that area is bisected by what's called a grass cart path on your plan. And it's just below the chicken barn. There you go. Yeah, so the larger of the areas is 1,880 square feet. So one on the left, let's see, the one on the south side, and the one on the northeast is going to be 825 square feet. And so that would total to 2705, and a return for mitigation. And I have a fairly complete plant list from those areas, which includes everything from wool grass and some interesting sedges, bristleback sedge, tussock sedge, soft rush. And those are wetland plants. A variety of cultivar grasses, agrarian stuff that was planted many years ago and naturalized, including some reed canary grass. And there's also a handful of things like silky dogwood, which naturally one would expect there, and even some alders along the wetter parts towards towards the cattails, which is also adjacent to the cattails along the wetland edge. Those areas are currently being mowed. It's probably 3 times a season, I would guess, maybe 4. They're kept cut just so they can have some more room to run the dogs in the back of the house, and more or less as it's a pretty rough lawn, I think, that as Delia would attest to, but they would be allowed to return to a natural condition. And
So Dave, if I can pause you there, please,
Sure.
we because this area has been cut routinely, as you say, mowed routinely. And it's therefore difficult to really see the native vegetation versus the turf grass. We would like to include a special condition that requires a report following the first growing season of no mowing. So that a determination can be made of the percent of native species to non-native species. And if the native species coverage is found to be less than 75% in these areas, then we'll be requiring additional native plantings to reach a minimum of 75% native plant cover. Does that sound okay?
yeah, sure, that would be
Okay,
really up to you, and that's satisfactory to me, and I'm sure my client. But I don't see how turf grass could survive out there. So yeah, we're all in for that.
great, thank you, thank you. And we're gonna also be requiring FEMRA markers to be installed to confirm the no disturb areas. Were you aware of that?
Yeah, and Delia was quite clear on that, and was
Right.
good enough to provide us with the guidance, which has been incorporated there. The black little squares are your I forget what you guys call those things, but I don't know. And some, I don't know.
Markers.
Pheno
Oh,
markers, yeah.
Pheno, yeah, the cupcakes, and those are, they're fairly compared to what we used to set, their cupcakes. So yeah, that's a good, that's a contemporary way of establishing some permanence there, indeed. And there's a detail included with their their composition and how to install them in the top right.
Yeah. That, we just got a revised plan in today that includes those pheno markers.
Oh, great,
Yeah.
great, great.
Yeah.
And those are every 20 feet, and
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea, and I like the idea of those. They're much less labor intensive, yet they seem to be pretty, rugged.
Mhm.
And then the foundation as well.
Yes, so another special condition that we're gonna request, Dave, is that as soon as you've completed the project, that will require you to engage your, sorry, on completion of the foundation and prior to any further construction activities, will require you to engage a professional engineer or surveyor to prepare an as-built plan, so that you accurately depict the foundation location and how close it is to Rutland resources.
Yep, that's
Okay,
sure. Yeah.
great, thank
Not a
you.
problem.
We talked about number 25, and then you're probably familiar with this, but prior to commencement of any site work, with the exception of installing the erosion and sedimentation controls, a pre-construction conference will be needed to be held on site. And that will include the applicant, general contractor, and natural resources staff. And the natural resources division will need at least 2 weeks' notice before the project commences, so that they can schedule that pre-construction conference.
Okay. All right, will do. Yeah, that's
Okay,
like those. Yeah.
so there are the points I wanted to raise. So any other commissioners have any comments?
No.
No,
I think you've covered.
okay, great. So, are there any public comments on this application?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah.
My name is Susan Teller. May I speak, please?
Yes, Please go ahead, Susan.
Okay, hi. My name is Susan Tuller and I'm a co-owner of Tom Curran Companies. We're the general contractor that Dr. Fred Nostrin and Aaron Renfro have hired for this project. And it's been an incredible journey so far. I want to thank Dave Burke for all your guidance. And Delia, I really wanted to say thank you for your guidance and advice and time and trips to 1487 Monument Street. And Dr. Fred couldn't be with us tonight, but he wanted to say thank you to all of you. And we just can't wait to get started with this fabulous dream of his. So I just want to say thank you to the committee. We really appreciate it.
All
Thank you,
right.
Susan. Much
Sure.
appreciated.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye for now.
Thank you.
You ready?
Okay, so we're ready to
Mhm.
close the hearing and issue the order of conditions, please.
Okay, I move that we close and issue an order of conditions for 1487 Monument Street, DEP file number 137-1695 with finding A, standard conditions 1 through 20 and special conditions 21 through 55.
Second,
Thank you. And the vote, Jen,
Aye.
Gary,
aye.
Nick,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Thank you and good luck.
Thank you. We appreciate your time and input.
Okay, so next we're moving on to the first of 4 new applications. Starting with 40 Spencer Brook Road, this is DP file 137-1700.
Looks
Have I
like
got
we
that
have
right?
Montgomery here.
Yes. Hey guys, how you doing? This is Montgomery Ustemski and McNary at 1000 Main Street, Acton. I'm going to be representing the applicant today. Let me share my
Hello.
screen. Oh yeah, this
We
is no.
did, isn't that amazing?
Oh, who's that?
I think we need someone to mute,
Yeah,
please.
someone needs to mute.
Oh, I've sent a request to share my screen. Okay.
Julie's busy muting someone.
All right.
Okay, we're good.
Can you see the plan?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so this is 40 Spencer Brook Road. Basically, we have an existing dwelling, an existing driveway over here. We have Spencer Brook in this area, and we have the edge of the bordering vegetated wetland here, and some of the portions of it here. We have this line. We have this line showing the floodplain, this one. And we have an existing deck in this area. As you can see here, there's some staircases. So basically we're proposing a new deck on top of the existing deck. So the existing deck is in the same exact area as this new proposed deck. It's going like that. The only thing we're changing here is it's within the same square footage, within the same area. We just put in the new stairs in this area. So basically they're not going to be any changes to the footings of the new deck. So we don't anticipate any changes in the flood, in the volume of the flood storage on site. So everything's going to be the same. The new deck is going exactly in place of the existing deck. So yeah, basically that's, and we have this proposed siltation barrier to prevent any alteration of the wetlands during construction.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Montgomery.
Mhm.
This seems very straightforward because there's no increase in
Yeah.
surface. Does anybody have any questions or comments?
No,
Is it just that the deck is rotting? I mean, why are they replacing with the exact same footprint? Is it just maintenance?
So I don't think it's in great condition. Also, it's within the 50 no build zone, so we can't
Right.
increase
Right.
increase
Yeah.
it. So we just put it in the same exact place.
Okay,
It would be
Exactly.
better for the wetlands.
Yep.
Mhm.
great, thank you. Any public comments? I'm guessing not. Okay, in that case, we're ready to close
Yeah.
the hearing and issue an order of conditions, please.
So I move that we close in order, issue order of conditions under DEP file 137 1700 for 40 Spencer Brook Road with finding A with standard conditions 1 through 20 and special conditions 21 through 53.
Second.
Thank you very much. And the vote, Jim, please.
Aye.
Thanks, Gary.
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. Thank you. Thank you very much. Good luck with the project.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, moving on. Next, we have a notice of intent for 445 Fitchburg Turnpike, BP file 1371702.
Also Stamsky.
Hi, I'm here for that.
Good evening.
Nathaniel.
Hello. All right. So, hi, for the record, my name is Nathaniel. I'm with Stamsey McNary. All right, so you should be able to see that now. Okay, so as mentioned, this is a notice of intent at 445 Fitchburg Turnpike. So first, I'm going to put on the screen a plan that was submitted for a very recent certificate of compliance. This represents the existing condition at the site, just for like a point of reference. So there's a single family house. There's an outbuilding that serves as an office, and there's a gravel driveway that comes in, kind of expands a bit for parking and connects to the house right here. The wetland kind of surrounds the lot quite a bit. And this wetland line was also confirmed in an ANRAD within the last few months, I believe. We also located a bit of an offsite wetland over here. So the 100-foot buffer zone takes up a pretty good portion of the site, except kind of conveniently where the septic is located in the corner here, close to Fitchburg Turnpike. So like I said, this pretty much represents the existing site. There's a floodplain line shown and the dark line that kind of goes across the plain here. We survey located that, and there's an elevation of 122 assigned to it. So that's the existing condition. So the project is basically a few updates and to the site. Basically 3 main points. So there's a garage addition that's going to be constructed on the side of the dwelling closer to Fitchburg Turnpike. And then the existing gravel driveway is going to go away. And then close to the house, which is between about 50, 75 feet to the wetland, is the gravel driveway is going to be taken out. It's going to be replaced with a permeable one. So you can kind of see in the hatching, the gray, what the extent of that would be. And then if you go down close to the Fitchburg Turnpike, again, gravel driveway is coming out. It's getting replaced with a kind of expanded keystone driveway. It's going to be opened up to get more room for vehicles and whatnot. Sorry, let me zoom back in here. So those are kind of the major elements, and then there's a bit of like grading, site work, etc. We have a separate planting plan. I believe Matt, the applicant, is on, or the applicant is on. He designed the architectural elements and put the planting plan together. So if you have any direct questions for that, he's available to answer, I believe. But other than that, I don't need to really go into too much detail beyond that. I think I covered the major points, so I'll hand it back to the chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Nathaniel. Did staff talk through the various points today that we had assigned? Yeah, okay, so Nathaniel, you're aware then that thank you. That the square footage of mitigation provided doesn't cover the impacted area, so we'll need some additional plants proposed to meet the 1-to-1 ratio. Is that
Yes,
clear to
yeah, I'm
you?
aware of that. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. And then also it would be preferable if the mitigation plantings are actually closest to the wetland rather than just along the driveway. I know you're familiar with these types of requests.
Yep.
Yeah, and then thirdly, we'll need on the plans a soil stockpile location because you're going to be cutting into the existing grass slope.
Yep, that's fine.
Yeah, and Nathaniel, these sorts of requests, come regularly from us, so it'd be really helpful if rather than having to have multiple meetings, if you could just make sure that you've actually met the mitigation requests in futures rather than have to have multiple meetings. That would be much appreciated.
Yep, that's fine. I thought I was on the assumption that was, I mean, it looks like some shrubs are being counted as smaller shrubs as opposed to what we kind of thought
Okay.
initially. I think that's where the discrepancy is, because I noticed,
Okay, got it, hay scented ferns, probably, okay.
yep.
Any other comments from the commissioners?
No,
So I just wanted to make sure all those yeps were like they agree.
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
thanks.
As opposed to I acknowledge.
Okay, any public comments on this application while we're discussing it?
Don't see.
No? Okay, so Nathaniel, are you okay continuing to April 23rd?
Yep, that's fine.
Revisions?
Yep.
Thank you very much. Okay. That's
All right,
great.
thanks.
And
See you April 23rd.
I don't know if you're doing the
It's-
next one as well, are you? So,
No, that's it for me.
Next.
Thank you.
Okay.
okay, thank you.
Yep.
So next up, we have notice of intent for 263 Great Meadows Road. This is DP file 1371703.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dan Carr from Stamsky McNary.
Hi, Daniel.
So I will share my screen and go over the plan. All right, so this is the wetland permitting plan for 263 Great Meadows Road. I'm sure most of the commission is familiar with this site, or at least the neighboring site. It's right adjacent to the Great Meadows National Wildlife Refuge. And this is one of the trails that actually connects to that trail network. So this is a zoomed in version of, let me show you the locus here. So this little rectangle is basically what is seen in the rest of the plan, and Borden Pond is to the west, and then the Great Meadows National Wildlife Refuge is to the east over here. So zooming in on that picture here is the trail that connects to the wildlife refuge, and Borden Pond is shown on the top of the plan, and the neighboring wetland is shown on the bottom of the plan here. So this is the walking trail from left to right. Currently, there are some drop inlets on the Borden Pond side of the trail that allow water to go underneath the walking trail. There is, so there's two different sized pipes that go underneath the trail. And then there is, there's a low part of the trail here, which is this shaded area here. And so apparently the pipes that go under the trail are undersized, and during really large storm events, water actually overtops the trail. And during those overtopping events, it of course does some erosion on the trail. So we're proposing to put in a turf reinforcement mat, in this shaded area here. So we survey located what the lowest portion of this trail is, and we're proposing this turf mat there to hold the soil in place and prevent any erosion during those large storm events where the water overtops the trail. We're also proposing some beaver deceivers. There's a lot of beaver activity here. So the beaver deceiver is basically like a cage that sits in the water. So currently there's a drop inlet right here and a pipe that connects to that drop inlet down and outlets over here. So we're proposing to put a beaver deceiver here, which is basically just like a fenced grate that surrounds a pipe. And so water can flow into the pipe here, and then that pipe is going to outlet in another caged area around the drop inlet. And so beavers are going to, try and block up this area here, thinking that they're stopping the water, but the water is really coming from over here. So we're proposing a beaver deceiver at both of those existing culverts to just prevent the pipes from constantly being blocked up by beaver activity. And the turf reinforcement mat just to prevent any further erosion during those large storm events. And I'm going to hand it over to Miles right now, who's going to talk about the plant management. There's a bunch of invasive species on site that we're hoping to manage. So I will hand that over to Miles. And Miles, I'm not sure, do you want to share your screen or keep this plan up, or?
Sure, I'll share my screen and just review the invasive portion of the project. So yes, good evening, members of the commission. Thank you for having us on this evening. Everyone see the screen all right?
Yes, I can, thank you.
As Dan mentioned, we are in the process of doing that structural management to the dike, this elongated pathway that divides these two wetland environments. Also along this pathway is a pretty diverse mixture of invasive and native plant species. We're looking to control invasive plant species out of this general area and promote additional native species. As we look through the actual plan, we have a combination of bittersweet, glossy buckthorn, purple light, loosestrife, and multiflora rose. In specific areas, these invasives were all identified this past winter. We're proposing herb cut and dab herbicide application to anything over approximately 1 inch in caliper. Anything under 1 inch in caliper, we would be hand removing by hand pulling. So a combination of manual hand removal methods as well as cut and dab herbicide application to anything over 1 inch in caliper. But there's also an existing condition, native plant species on site. Things like alder and clethra, the summer sweet, swamp azaleas, swamp milkweeds were all identified on site, as well as numerous other species. So buttonbush was a predominant one, different varieties of rose, willow, a lot of highbush blueberry. So looking to obviously keep those native species intact, but selectively identify and remove the invasive species from the area. In those areas that might be disturbed from reinforcement over the dike, we're proposing native plant seeding. So this would be a wetland seed mix from New England wetland plants, as described here in this seed mix. Please excuse my cat in the background. So this sowing of native seed mix would be a process of like clearing off leaves, other debris, coating the soil, and directly like seeding by hand broadcasting and then compacting to the soil. There's also a variety of like live stake opportunities here with existing plant species like such as dogwoods, some of the willows. So in some areas that are open after removal of buckthorn and multiflora rose in particular, we're suggesting live stake installation with existing species on site. And just to detail that a little bit, it's a cutting of a dormant stick of things like elderberry, willows, buttonbush, shrub dogwoods, and actually installing those directly into the soil. They will produce additional plants. So this work would ideally start this spring and lead us into this season at the appropriate times of the year. So this time of year, we'd be cutting and removing, leaving probably 6 to 8 inch stumps of buckthorn, bittersweet, going back mid-season, recutting, applying herbicide, again, directly to the stump. And then during this time, we'd also be, depending on when the installation of the infrastructure was done, we would be overseeding directly at that time and managing live stakes and other pruning into the fall and into next season as well. Do members have questions about the proposed work?
Yeah, sounds like a good plan.
Yeah, so I assume the seeding that you're doing won't require winter stratification then, or if they do, you just think they'll stick around that long? The seed?
Yeah, excellent question. Yes, there are some seeds in the seed mix that will require cold scarification or to germinate. So yeah, those would hypothetically germinate after this next coming winter season.
I'm just surprised to see you putting it down in that it looks like you're putting it down quite early. And will the seeds still be there by the time they'll germinate? I guess that's my question. I'm just curious.
I think with the disturbed soil and the matting, the seeding
Mhm.
would just be a natural element to accomplish during that time. But we would certainly, entertain any overseeding in the fall, dormant seeding in the fall or early, in the season next year as well as part of this work.
Yeah, I don't have any concerns if this is what you usually do, just,
The question about
Intrigued.
the 1-to-1 ratio.
No, that is a different application.
Oh, okay.
So the only, concern, I'm not sure if staff have brought this up yet, is around the control matting that you're using, because some types can be dangerous to wildlife. So we're just wondering what you're gonna use.
Sure, so we're proposing the Green Armor turf reinforcement mat, which is basically like a synthetic grid that allows a growth medium within it. And so this growth medium, along with the grid, we have to ensure good contact with the soil underneath it. But it should grow in pretty lushly that you wouldn't be able to actually see the mat once it's grown in.
Okay, thank you. Any other
So is that,
questions?
Yeah,
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, we need, because this is because this is located in, Natural Heritage and Endangered Species Program area. We'll need proof of mailing to that.
Yes, we
Yeah.
did send that to them. We can provide that to.
Thank
Tomorrow.
you.
And they will provide comments within 30 days of receipt of the
Okay.
application. Commission usually leaves it open to see what their comments are before closing, but
Okay,
we
so
should have
that's why we
this.
have to continue.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
so say that
May.
again.
So Heritage has 30 days to provide comments, and the commission will keep the hearing open in case they have conditions that we would then incorporate into the order of
Mhm.
I
conditions.
see. So we can say we're all fine, subject to getting those comments, right?
Right.
Yes, but
And
that
so
just-
we can continue to April 23rd, but we may not have comments back yet, right? They have 30
We
days.
should. When did you submit to Heritage?
It was about the same time we submitted to you guys, so it's been at least 2 weeks.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, good.
Yeah.
Should be back.
Okay,
Okay, great.
So, if there's no comments,
was
or
gonna say-
even if there are comments, we would just incorporate that into the
Yeah.
order. So if the
Yeah,
commission doesn't have any additional comments, I don't
they don't need to
see
come
the
back.
need for them to.
Yeah,
to
no, I
come back.
agree.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, can I just ask if there are any public comments on this proposal, please? Oh, yes, please.
I'm the owner. So I
Oh, hi.
came to
Oh,
Come
thank
on
you.
up.
be here.
Yeah.
Do you want to come a bit closer to the microphone,
Oh,
if you have something to say?
Is there a mic? It's
Yeah.
owl.
Yeah.
You can sit there.
Frightening.
At the end is fine. if you
Anywhere on
want
the
to sit.
table.
Anywhere on the
You can
table.
sit there.
Okay, well, can I stand here? Is
Yeah,
it
yeah.
good? Yeah. Hi, I'm Scott Johnson. I live at 263, so,
Mhm.
just came to be here, answer questions. I'm really happy to get this going.
Yeah.
It's,
Beautiful project.
it's gonna be a great project.
It is,
It's
yeah.
really good help.
Yes.
So that's it.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
for your
you.
help.
Okay, so, Daniel, if you're okay, continuing till the 23rd, but as we said, we're unlikely to need you to join the meeting. Staff will let you know.
Yep.
And good luck with the project. Sounds great.
So just because I'm a newbie, so it's gonna continue. If there are no particular comments, they won't come, but then they'll be handled by us at the end of the meeting.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Correct, yeah.
Or
Okay,
during the meeting.
Or
We'll
during-
close an
Yeah.
issue, but they don't need
It'll
to
be
be there
closing
for
it,
us to
yeah.
close an issue.
It'll be handled sometime.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah. Okay, thanks very much then.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we're doing great timing tonight. So we're moving on to our last application, which is an RDA, sorry, for 93 Monument Street, RDA file 25-7. Yes.
Hi, I'm Wes Worth. I'm a landscape architect working with Kurt and Carrie Von Braun, and Carrie Byrne is also here with us from Catalano Architects. I'd like to share my screen. Okay, can everybody see this site map?
Thank you. Yep.
Okay, this is the site area. This is the Gothic Revival House. It's a very historic house in town. This is Monument Street here. As you can see, there's a wetland that is nipping the corner of our site and onto abutters sites. This is a photograph from the back of the house looking into the rear yard. This is the immediate area. The wetland line is all the way back here where my cursor is. And this is walking further back. This is an approximation of the wetland line. And you can see the gradient of the site gently slopes away from Monument Street down to the left here to this lower area. This wetland line is approximately the property line, and the bulk of the wet area, as I showed on the in this map, is off-site. So even though the wetland is shown here on the USGS map, we have a survey from Metro West Engineer that shows it approximately here. So it is shown on our site. Here's a map of the site that shows the wetland line, the 25, the 50, and the 100. And we are requesting an RDA simply because the proposed work is that is within the 100-foot buffer is very, very minimal and in this area, or proposed hardscape. So this shows, this yellow area represents an existing terrace and some walls which are proposed to be removed. And then this green area shows the amount of existing lawn, which is significant. It's about 15,000 square feet. This is our proposed landscape plan. And what this is showing is a new terrace and a raised sloped bank which slopes down from the terrace. This very small 400 square foot area is between approximately 80 and 100 feet. Consists of mostly of this planted vegetated bank, but of a flagstone walkway right here, which I believe is about 149 square feet of flagstone. There are some stairs which descend off the terrace. There are about 32 square feet of step paved area. And this bank that I talked about is 247. So we're considering that to be the alteration, the physical alteration within the buffer zone. The rest of the proposed work is a conversion of, or we're looking at it through the lens of converting lawn area into native plantings. And it consists of multiple zones of essentially, the border will be a native tree, shrub, and perennial border. And this area here, which is directly in the middle of the lawn, will be a wildflower meadow. This actually will be wildflower meadow too. So in total, I think there's a total of about 5,700, almost 6,000 square feet of conversion of lawn area to native plant area. Now, the techniques that we would use to do this, and additionally, sorry, one more thing. There are, let me go back to the existing condition plan. On these borders, outside of the lawn area, there are some native plants, invasive plants, which we will manage, remove using no herbicide and only hand pulling and cutting removals, pulling as possible. The invasive pressure is not that bad. And I'll just show one more plan. This is the front of the house. Doesn't really apply so much. This is that terrace that we're proposing in the back, and as you can see, it's on a raised by fill to create a terrace that is closer to the finished floor of the house. This area right here is that small triangle that is represented on the plan in yellow, that 400 square foot area. So the approximate 80 foot buffer to 100. The perspective is oblique here, but that's the approximate area of impact. I think that
I guess I'm a little bit confused. So that yellow area you're just pointing out, that's where the current stone like circle
Yes,
circular
yes.
patio area is? Okay, got it.
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
So the stone circle is there, and essentially the stone circle is disappearing, and we're proposing even less, a lesser hardscape than what was there. But it does protrude slightly into the 100 foot, 20 feet into the 100 foot zone here, 80 to.
Got it. I thought the circle was remaining. That was confusing me.
That other one is.
Oh, there's another one that's
That-
remaining.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a little one right here
Oh, okay.
that is sitting under a gigantic Norway maple. That's just staying as
Got
is.
it. Okay. I think what would be helpful was, please, I know you've calculated all the square footage of the various areas, but it'd be
Yes.
helpful to have a table that summarizes like a chart of impacts, so it's very clear how the conditions are changing, so that we can be sure that the necessary impact litigation has been taken into account.
Certainly.
Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the information is already on the plan, but I can organize it in a
Just a table in the corner would be very helpful.
sure.
Yeah, thank you. And also, I know you've mentioned you're going to be replacing the lawn. The lawn area, you're going to have native planting instead. And
Yes.
you mentioned the invasive species would be all hand pulled.
Yes,
Could we have that on the plan as well, please?
absolutely.
How are you going to do both things?
We have a invasive species management program, which I will submit.
Oh, great. Perfect. Okay, thank you.
Yep, and I will also submit a list of native plants to this particular region that we'll use as a guideline
Perfect.
for all of our native plantings.
Thank you. It looks like a great project. Any other comments or questions from the commissioners?
No.
No?
No,
No?
it's great to be converting so much lawn to wildflower and
Yeah.
native plantings. That's
Yeah.
great.
I guess another question I had was you had a wall around one of the circles. You showed it in a photo. That wall's just coming down.
Yeah, so that is this,
Mm-hmm.
which is an existing circular terrace with a little wall here and a little wall here. That is all coming down
That's all coming out. Okay.
and being removed. And I only, I colored this, the whole thing is coming out, but I colored this yellow just because that's the portion that's within the
Inside the 100.
buffer
Yeah.
zone. But that's all coming out and being replaced by this much larger, I mean, actually, it's almost all, the main part of this new proposed hardscape is out of the buffer zone,
Yeah.
except for
Yeah.
this very little pathway in the corner of these stairs.
Yeah. I mean, overall, it's clearly an improvement of conditions, but as I said, having it all tabulated would be very helpful.
Oh, very clear. Oh, one other thing I failed to mention is there's we're proposing a silt fence and wattles here just to contain
Right.
the hardscape area. It falls on the 50 down here and, just in an arbitrary place up here. And then one other note that was emailed to me is how to how to convert the lawn area and prep it for wildflower. Some of this is in a fairly tender area, and I would sort of seek a little bit of guidance there. I mean, normally when we prepare a wildflower area, we want to try to remove the grass or to till it in, and we try to use tilling. And often multiple tills. We'll till it once, we'll let it germinate and till it again, and then seed into it. In this case, it does get kind of close to the resource area. Do you have any advice or guidelines on how we might manage that?
So I actually haven't, I don't know of tilling as being an approach to convert lawn to a wildlife meadow, but you will have more familiarity with that. But I do know of slice seeding as an approach. That you know, we have approved on other projects. And I guess I would suggest that, you know, where you're that close to the wetlands, you probably would want to be including some erosion controls. In areas where, yeah. And on down at the bottom of the plan, you know, where you're converting what looks like it, you know, into the wetlands, that boundary, the lowest left area.
Yeah.
So just because, you know, like a straw wattle. I don't recall seeing the detail of what your erosion control is, but a straw wattle would be sufficient.
Yeah,
But some of that is inside the 25, right?
And some of it's in the wetland.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this area would be no-till, and I can indicate that on the plan. I mean, this would just be hand tossed seed, and you know, hope it works.
Yeah, so I mean, which I don't think is going to be effective. You know, I think when you have areas of pretty established lawn, you may have better success where you've got, you know, some, you know, very hydric conditions. I don't think lawn particularly, you know, would want, you know, I mean, you could, I think you could still consider slice seeding in that area.
I would agree. I mean, I think some things like Joe Pye weed, for example, can be effective in areas like that. If they're fairly powerful plants. I think up here, it really, you know, it really feels like lawn. It doesn't. In fact, the whole area is mowed. You know, these green areas indicate what is lawn. So right now, according to this plan, you know, the lawn is actually right over the wetland line.
Right.
So you know, there are mowers going on. There have been mowers going over it every week for years. So I think that you know, I don't think that tilling this is appropriate, but I do think that slice seeding or, you know, or a gentler approach is due here. By the way, we do have an engineering plan, and that shows a detail for the control. Here it is.
Thank you.
Okay.
So do we have, I mean, we've just talked about a number of things that are gonna be added to the plan.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm very favorably inclined to this. Is there a way we can still approve this
Continue it.
tonight and then, or do we have, it seems
No.
to me like there's done too many things. That's was my.
We need to continue it. Yeah.
Okay, I'm happy to add all of these things to the plan and resubmit it. And I mean,
Is this one where people wouldn't have to necessarily come back if they're just
So
done
it-
all those things?
I mean, I feel like there's might be substantial enough changes that it might be helpful to have them come back, but
Alright.
it's, you know, it's up
I
to
mean,
you.
I would ask that we that it could be reviewed internally and approved, assuming that we hit the mark on all of these. You know, what are, I mean, they're important changes, but I don't really think that they really change the character and the
Agreed.
sort of essence of what's being done here, which is a dramatic ecological, you know,
Improvement.
Yeah.
So if you can get that information in Friday, the 11th by noon, we'll be able to review it in advance of the meeting and get you any comments.
Yeah, and then we can all review it as well, and if everyone's happy, we can just do a closing issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the other way that you could approach it, you know, if you want us to review it internally and work out any, you know, anything so that it just comes to you as a closing issue, we can do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I-
It's just an
I-
RDA. I think
Yeah,
that's okay.
I think
yeah,
that's
I'd
okay.
love to do
Yeah.
it that way.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
Yeah.
think they're putting a lot of work in this and
Yeah.
see if we can get them going.
Yeah.
yeah,
That would be
Yeah.
wonderful. Thank you.
Mm.
Okay, so I will make changes as discussed and submit it before the 11th.
great,
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Bye now.
Bye. Okay. So we have one closing issue tonight for 43 White Avenue, BP file 1371697.
With that.
Correct?
Mhm.
Yes?
Oh, right. That was, yeah, something we were gonna hear, but it's all set.
Oh, that's right. Okay, sorry.
this is
We're
the one
all
that got
getting each other
moved.
confused, but yes.
Right, so we
Okay.
have some detail in the thumbnail, but
Yeah.
Has somebody got it? Yeah, good.
I think Jim has that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
I got that one. So move that we close and issue a decision respect to the of a notice of intent with respect to 43 White Avenue, DEP file 1371697. And that the order be issued under the Wetlands Protection Act, Section 40, Wetlands Bylaw, Article 43, approved at the town meeting. And
finding.
yes, and under, that was finding A.
Okay.
And B is that therefore under the order of condition under DEP file number, that number, 1371697, the commission hereby finds that addition to the standard conditions 1 through 21, following special conditions are necessary in accordance, and those are conditions 21 through 53.
Second,
Thank you. And the vote, Jim?
Aye.
Larry?
Aye.
aye,
And I'm an aye as well. Thank you. And I think last on the agenda, we have just one other business.
No,
We have
Two.
two, so we have.
Oh, sorry, I didn't turn the page. Yep. Okay, so we have, so we have an administrative amendment to order of conditions.
Yes. And that was just to correct a book and page, the applicant had submitted. Rather than the original trust document, they had submitted an amendment to the trust and the registry didn't accept that for recording purposes. So we just need to change the book and page reference on the order of conditions so that it can be recorded at the registry.
Okay, great. And we have, two certificates of compliance.
So 23 Shirley Street's not ready yet, so that'll be.
One.
Okay, so we have one. 336 Lexington Road, DEP file 1371515. Do we have
We
someone?
had
Mr.
Peter
Gambino.
Okay,
here
great.
to talk to that.
Hi, this is Peter Gambino, 336 Lexington Road, and I am here to represent myself in this matter.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm sorry, do I start here or do you guys kind of want to pick up from
No,
what
you
was-
can start. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so Stansky and McNary submitted the request to get the certificate of compliance back in March. They included the site plan and their comments on the matter. I can share those if you want over the screen, or if you guys have them, that's great.
I don't think we have anything.
We have an as-built.
We do, but we don't have it. So yes, you can share it.
Okay.
Peter.
And bear with me, I'm actually traveling for work, so if my internet is bad, the hotel I'm at is not the best. Entire screen. Share. Okay. So basically Stamsky submitted this, and there was a few small variations from the original plan that were kind of worked out as construction decisions as things went on. Probably the biggest one that was going to concern the board is over here in this corner, down here. We ended up having to build a retaining wall here because the elevation of the pool was a little higher than the builder had initially thought when it started from here out. And he did not want to have a hill going down away from this because he was worried a little bit about erosion and things like that. So they ended up building, it was all within the border or within the area of construction, but they ended up putting a retaining wall in there, a small, probably about 2-foot retaining wall at the highest part, just so that we didn't have a downhill slope going away from the pool into the wetlands. That was really the biggest variation of everything. Otherwise, let me go back to here. Is there anything else you guys would like to see on this plan, or is that clear?
I think this is clear. So there's been a wall built
Yeah.
in the 50-foot no build zone without permission, essentially.
Well, yes.
Okay.
Good start.
When you put it that way, yeah. I mean, they were assuring me that this was the right way to do it. The pool builder was.
Well, it might be for the pool, but unfortunately it's in the no build zone, which is, you know,
Right.
the reason we're here is to
Mhm.
to prevent people from doing this. So what do people think? It's gonna be hard to,
I'm just
that
looking
right,
at where
isn't
the 50-foot is. It seems like it's the corner
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's just-
inside the 50.
yes.
Yep.
So you could keep the retaining wall for, you know, much of the retaining wall. It's just, could that corner be
Move that.
converted to
Yeah.
a sloping?
Or is it de minimis?
One of the problems
Yeah.
that they said is
Do
that
you have
there's
any
pipe.
photo?
Yeah.
Any chance?
Sorry, say that again.
Do you have any, I don't
A
think you have
photo.
a photo, so we can
Um,
see what it looks like. I'm
Yeah.
just trying to visualize
I'm looking for one
how
now.
substantial, you know, the whole area is.
Mhm.
I can't read the dimension. Is that 43 feet
43.
at the closest point
Yeah.
right now? So
Right
it
here it's
extends
40 43 feet.
7 feet into the, yeah.
That's quite a bit.
Yeah, that's not de minimis.
And none of it's de minimis in the
Yeah.
thing.
I wonder if it could be like a rounded wall or something that pulls it back to 48 feet or something, you know?
But
Oh.
yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to figure out where it's,
Yeah.
I'm, from here, it's hard for me to see
Let me
exactly
point
what's
to it
in
for you.
the, wetland, what's in the 50
So this
foot.
is the line.
Where's the 50?
Yeah, that was
50
good.
on
You
line.
zoomed in, that was good.
Okay, yeah.
This is the 50 line, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So the whole
So
corner,
it isn't just the wall, it was the whole.
Yeah.
yeah, there's a little bit, are those
That was
pavers that
approved.
are?
Well, yeah, the
approved.
pavers were part of the
Walls.
original plan. That's why we had to do this in the
Well,
first place.
So I don't remember that. When did this come before us? I don't remember.
2020. So
Yeah.
where the
Yeah.
wall is right now, there was a fence approved there.
Right.
So that was a long time ago.
Improved.
Okay, so
Of
the
course.
question was there a pre-existing structure that intruded into the 50 that allowed this to happen at the corner, most of it?
It wasn't pre-existing.
No, it
We
wasn't.
approved a plan that had a
Just
fence,
had a fence.
is my understanding,
Right.
and what the builder put was a retaining wall instead of a fence.
And
Yes.
So,
the commission had, at the time, had said, well, it's not a brick wall. It's a fence.
Right,
Mm.
but it's a 2-foot wall, not a 4-foot wall, which would be a structure. Does that matter?
Yes, no, I mean,
No.
it is a structure.
So how
Okay.
tall is this wall?
2 foot, he said.
Yes,
He has some pictures or something that just,
I'm trying to
Commission
find.
site
some
visit
as
if
we
you need
speak.
site
yeah,
visit.
or a site visit or something.
I think, yeah, we need to understand.
Yeah, before
Yeah.
that, you started to say, sort of there was a problem with a pipe. I mean, you started to say that, then I think we lost you, so.
So one of the things that the pool guy told me are there are two ports inside of the pool, and the pipes come out and around back here, right? So bringing this in, there are pipes in this area in here as part of the pool plumbing
Oh, gosh.
That are now buried?
that are now buried. Yes, yes, this
And
is all
do you know-
finished.
Do you know, or could you find out exactly where they are, whether they're are they in the 50 or outside, do you know?
I wouldn't know that for sure.
Okay.
They had the area of this, like Stansky did come in and mark out the boundary of construction. And I know everything was completed and there was no excursions outside, but I couldn't tell you exactly where in here they were. I know this is part of the pool structure here, and so they have to be behind this. And then the pool comes out to here, so they're probably right around in this area, right about at that
It
part.
would be helpful to see the version of this plan that was approved,
Yeah,
the comparable
It
one
is-
to the-
Yeah,
we have that.
okay.
you can
Yeah.
kind of see it. Stansky left it on here. It's the lighter coloring here. That was the approved version of it. So you see things,
Oh, so those lighter dashes are supposed to
Yes.
represent the fence?
yep. Well, right here, this right here represents the fence,
Oh.
right where the
Ah.
retaining wall is. And that
Okay.
was what was approved.
I do have the approved plan right here. if you Want to pull it up at any point?
Do you want me to stop sharing or do you?
No, I think
No,
that's,
no, it's
no,
okay.
no, that's fine, leave it.
So
Okay.
I'm a bit, I guess I want to see either a site visit or see photos, because I'm still confused about how a 2-foot wall is needed instead of a
Yeah.
fence. Is it
Well,
because
for
it's holding
retaining,
things
for it-
in?
Because it's
Well-
structurally, it'll hold back the soil, a fence wouldn't do that, a fence will eventually rot and fall over.
Yeah.
that's.
It's
the
not gonna
Well, the
change
question,
the soil
right, the
either.
question
But
is
so-
how much
so we
retaining.
We can, so we
There's
can,
a step
we
up
can
or
do,
something?
Bert and I can do a site visit.
Yeah.
One of us can do a site visit and get some
Get some
photographs.
photos, yeah.
Oh, that would be
Yeah.
helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm a little confused, because, so the only thing that's changed is that the fence became a stone wall.
Yes.
Correct. Yes.
There's no
It-
further intrusion.
No
That's the
further
only,
intrusion.
right, there's
Yep.
no other intrusion.
okay.
We do need monitoring reports,
Okay.
that have not been submitted yet.
Yeah, and we just found that out yesterday, so I will work with Bert on that. We were going to ask you for a partial approval, and based on the monitoring reports being submitted afterwards, we're open to a site visit if we can schedule that with Bert or Delia. But yeah, this was really the big exception, or the only exception to kind of the plan. Everything else went pretty
So-
much as planned.
You mentioned the underground pipes. Were they part of the previous plan and are they outside of the 50?
Oh, yeah, they're inside the construction zone. That's what I was saying. So within the boundary of limits that were set up, they're in here.
Okay.
I know that this is an edge of a hard structure of the gunite here.
Yeah.
And this is an edge of the hard structure here, so they're at least like at a right angle right about there. But again,
So it really is just the wall that's
yeah.
moved in too much, okay.
Oh, yeah, is the wall, is it a field stone wall, is it masonry, what is it, bricks? What's it?
It's it's bricks.
Oh,
I think it's like a brick retaining, or like a manufactured brick retaining wall.
So I think a site visit would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be good, yeah.
But just staff. Yeah,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah. And we can put it on the next meeting agenda.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Is that April 20 something?
Is there a
23rd.
sale pending or anything? No?
We'll just put it on the market.
Okay.
And then I can
Nice.
work with Bert and get the monitoring report done by then as well.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
It's just down the road for me, yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay,
yeah.
so Delia, will you or Bert reach out then with a time you can do a site visit?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Okay. Well, thank you. and
Thank
we'll
you.
See you on the 23rd.
okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh,
And I believe that is meeting adjourned
Yeah.
at 8:15.